Good morning. Well, it was because of some of the things that Luis just shared is going on at the United Nations and that we heard around the world that I am going to read some different words. We, the representatives of our sovereign nations, do hereby declare in mutual friendship and respect our commitment to work together to ensure the full enjoyment of all human rights and equal opportunity for women at all levels of political, economic, and public life, improve and secure access to health and development gains for women, including sexual and reproductive health, which must always promote optimal health, the highest attainable standard of health, without including abortion. Reaffirm that there is no international right to abortion, nor any international obligation on the part of states to finance or facilitate abortion, consistent with the long-standing international consensus that each nation has the sovereign right to implement programs and activities consistent with their laws and policies. Advance supportive public health policies for women and girls, as well as families. Support the role of the family as foundational to society and as a source of health, support, and care, and engage across the United Nations system to realize these universal values, recognizing that individually we are strong, but together we are stronger. So far, 37 nations, representing every single region of the world, have committed to these goals within the Geneva Consensus Declaration. This coalition is the first ever of its kind ever in history around the pillars of supporting genuine health gains for women, emphasizing a healthy family is essential to any healthy society, reaffirming there is no international right to abortion, and protecting the sovereign right of nations to decide and legislate on these issues. And just a few days ago, Colombia joined as the newest member. And that's what brought the total number to 37. So bravo, Colombia, and bravo, President Duque. And let's pray for Colombia as they have their election this weekend to decide if this value will continue in that nation. And thank you, Brazil, for being the secretariat of the coalition. I am encouraged by the results that you are bringing, and thank you so much, Angela Gondra, for your leadership in that regard. And thank you, Hungary, Egypt, Indonesia, and Uganda, for being the other 4 regional leaders. This slide shows each of those nations being represented during the original signing of the Geneva Consensus Declaration in 2020. And you can see the tiny picture is the US. This was virtual because of COVID. And unfortunately, the only nation so far to remove its name is the United States. Because before the sun set on Inauguration Day, President Biden removed the United States from the Geneva Consensus Declaration, the only policy removed from US government websites on Inauguration Day, which tells you the importance of this coalition and the opportunities for this coalition. It was my great honor to be the architect of the Geneva Consensus Declaration during my time in the Trump administration. And while currently President Biden is working to dismantle these pillars, I am confident that the United States will soon rejoin this coalition after the next election. So this coalition really is needed now more than ever before, because women, life, and family are under cataclysmic assault. And I want to give you just a few examples of that. When the World Health Organization pressures countries to liberalize laws through new abortion guidelines, then a nation's sovereignty is at risk as much as the lives of its most vulnerable citizens. Second, when the definition of democracy is defined to include radical ideologies, as Luis so aptly gave examples, it diminishes the authentic progress of democracy. When smaller nations are silenced through intimidation and threats at places like the United Nations or even within their own borders, then open dialogue where each nation has an equal voice is utterly destroyed. When countries and international organizations mislead, and I would say lie to, other countries about the true intent of their programs, of concepts, of terms, then the integrity of fruitful relationships is lost, and a spiteful form of ideological colonialism is replaced in its place. When the US White House admits that it wants to erase the Geneva Consensus Declaration even from the history of the United Nations system, simply because they do not agree with the policy, this is Orwellian arrogance. When even a United States Supreme Court justice refuses to define the word woman, then 1/2 of the human race is at risk for having its human rights abolished, erased, and equal treatment removed. When women are forced to suffer because of their health needs are being ignored in favor of ideological agendas, then injustice is in plain sight. And when a country that wants to support healthy families is attacked for wanting to support healthy families, the very fabric of society is at risk. But the Geneva Consensus Declaration and the coalition it created creates a unified stance for nations to defend health, life, family, and their very sovereignty. Increasingly, nations are saying enough is enough. Stop disrespecting our values. If your nation is already a member, then I say bravo. Now it's time to move your country from a name on a page to an active coalition member. And let's grow this Geneva Consensus Coalition. Instead of 37 nations, what if by the end of this year there were 50? Oops. If you're not yet a member, we hope your country will join. The Secretariat for the Coalition, Brazil, is here, and the architect of the coalition is here. We can help do it today. Perhaps right now is not the right time yet for your country, but there are things that each of you can do. First of all, political parties can support this as part of your platform. Parliaments can commend it. Future presidential and prime minister candidates endorse it early. If your country, unfortunately, like mine, is complicit with applying pressure to other countries over health, life, and family, then help move your leadership to neutral. Tell your country, stop bullying other nations. Please, let's talk during the course of today. And, you know, here in the United States, or not here, across the sea in the United States, we are at the cusp of having Roe versus Wade overturned. A 50-year-old 50-year-old abortion ruling that made the United States one of the most barbaric abortion providers in the world. If it is overturned, it will have a global effect. It will reverberate around the world, shaking up the status quo and giving courage to pro-life countries to be proud for their support for life. But I think it will do more. I think it will encourage countries that haven't really thought about this issue in a very long time to again reconsider through the lens of affirming and defending life. And I am also hopeful that it will tell the world that although the U.S. president is currently the most pro-abortion U.S. president in history, the tide is turning, and his administration is out of touch with the legal trend of America, as well as the sentiment of many Americans. And because of that, when the U.S. officials show up at your border to pressure you to liberalize your laws on abortion, I hope your country will not be intimidated, but will stand firm to your values. So in conclusion, friends, the Institute for Women's Health would rather not talk about any of these ideological issues. We're a women's health policy organization, unique because we believe that the best way to make real health gains for women is by excluding ideological agendas from this discussion. They belong to the nations to decide. And because we want to clear the path so that authentic health gains can be made, I invite you to join us to create a coalition of NGOs and political leaders that want to stand together and unify around a common strategy that we all devise together. Because those who are working against us have that strategy and they have been executing it for decades. We are 25 years or more behind, but we're not too late. The reality is, if a nation and its leaders refuse to defend their core values, no one else will. So let's stand together, because we no longer have to stand alone. It can be our greatest defense, and I would say our greatest offense. The Institute for Women's Health looks forward to working with you. I hope you go to our website, and I hope to talk to those of you who have not yet had the honor to do. God bless you all. Thank you.